Hey you guys, my name is Dan, Merry Christmas, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the latest release in Bachmann's Tallyclin Railway range, the brand new 009 Sir Hayden. This model has been hotly anticipated over the long time that it's taken to come out, so now that Sir Hayden is out, how did Bachmann do with him? Well, I think they did a pretty decent job. Maybe the detail is a little too simplified for the price, but honestly, it's not... Sorry, hold on, I gotta take this. This could be my doctor or something. Yeah, hello? Sorry, I'm doing a video right now. Can you be... Yeah, it came in the mail just now. Yeah, Sir Hayden. Yeah, I'm doing the video about it. No, Sir Hayden. Sir Handel? No, wait, so you're... No, but this can't be Sir Handel. It doesn't... No, that's fine. It's okay, no, I'll just write the review again. It's okay. No. Yeah. See, bye. Hey you guys, my name is Dan, Merry Christmas, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the last 2025 release for Bachmann's Thomas & Friends range, the brand new 009 Sir Handel. This model has been hotly anticipated over the long time that it's taken to come out, so now that Sir Handel is out, how did Bachmann do with him? Well, I think they did a pretty decent job at pulling the wool over people's eyes and conning them out of $130 for a beta version of their upcoming Sir Hayden model. If you think I'm being a little too harsh here at the beginning, then just watch to the end of the review and then tell me what you think in the comments. This Sir Handel model comes in at an RRP of $192.50 on Bachmann's website. That 50 cents was really important, we had to make sure we got that in there. But you can find it from most retailers for about $130, at least in the US. Now before we get to talking about Sir Handel, there's actually some important things that we need to go over first. So let's go ahead and get into how we got to this model's release. In 2015, Bachmann announced and released their first model of a narrow-gauge Thomas character, Skarloey, and since then they have been releasing a new Skarloey Railway character about every 2 or 3 years. There was Skarloey in 2015, Rheneas in 2017, Rusty in 2019, Peter Sam in 2022, and now Sir Handel in 2025, after having been announced in 2022. At some point along the way, Bachmann actually realized that they could get 2 releases in one by repackaging each of these models as their Tallyclin Railway real-life counterparts. You see, each of the engines on the Skarloey Railway were based on engines from the Tallyclin Railway in real life. They were first brought to the TV series in Season 4 with very simple O-gauge models, and eventually the characters would make it to the CGI series, where they were recreated from the ground up. The animation crew actually went to the Tallyclin Railway to take reference photos to use for recreating the characters in CGI. This brought the CGI versions of the characters much closer to their real-life counterparts, making the eventual Bachmann models of those characters perfect to be reused to make models of the real-life counterparts. They weren't identical though, they still retained some traits unique to the characters, like how Peter Sam still has his Giesel ejector, unlike the real-life Edward Thomas. In 2024, Bachmann started by repurposing their existing Skarloey model into a brand new Tallyclin model. It was a decent match, but it wasn't perfect. This was 9 years after Skarloey originally came out, so it's pretty safe to say that Bachmann did not have this all planned out in the beginning when they made that Skarloey model. This would not be the case for Sir Handel and Sir Hayden, however. In the case of Sir Handel, his real-life counterpart Sir Hayden was announced and even got a page on Bachmann's website before Sir Handel was even out. Bachmann clearly planned from the beginning to reuse this Sir Handel as Sir Hayden later down the line. And when you look closely at any of the details on this Sir Handel model, you'll quickly realize that this model was actually made to be Sir Hayden first and Sir Handel second. To show you what I mean, we're going to have to take a very in-depth look at all the details, but before I get to that, let's go ahead and take a brief look at the box. Here is the box that Sir Handel comes in. On the front, it just says locomotive. Kinda not what I'd expect for $130, but it's fine, it's just the box. On the back, we do still have the name and item number on a sticker. Through the front of the box, we can see one side of Sir Handel and the block of ice that he's encased in. Opening the box up and taking him out, behind the block of ice we just have the instructions and the ad for Bachmann's catalog. There's no extra accessories or anything besides the engine in here. Removing the top and taking out Sir Handel, that's the unboxing done. No notes, a perfectly fine box. Nothing great, but nothing terrible either. So now with that out of the way, let's go ahead and take a closer look at Sir Handel. Before I start nitpicking, let's actually go over the positives. At a glance, this thing is unmistakably Sir Handel. The color and general shape and proportions are all pretty spot on. The face, although I would prefer a model series face, is a perfect recreation of Sir Handel's face in the CGI series. It is a little weird that his mouth is unpainted though. Also, the majority of Sir Handel is actually made with die-cast metal, just like the rest of Bachmann's Skarloey railway engines. The fully metal construction does give this model a very nice feeling of quality, and obviously adds a lot of weight to the model as well, which will increase its pulling power. But now the problems will begin as we start to take a look at every single one of the fine details close up. Since I actually have a lot to say about it, I think that it's only appropriate to start this review up front with everyone's favorite segment, Dan's Running Board Discussion Hour. The details here on Sir Handel's running board include a dummy coupler, a vacuum pipe, and these little molded details under his face. Why is this so noteworthy that I'm starting with it? Well, it's because besides the dummy coupler, none of these details appear on Sir Handel in the show. These are details that appear on the real-life Sir Hayden. Sir Handel's details, a lamp and an empty lamp iron, are both missing. Sometimes they're missing on the show too though, so that's okay I guess. The actual coupler here is a standard International 009 loop coupler, which is fitted into a NEM pocket and is removable in case you want to replace it with a standard N-scale coupler or something. If you want to remove the front coupler from Sir Handel completely, you can do that by unscrewing the NEM socket from the bottom. But Bachmann did not include a piece to cover up the gap that would be left here, so you're not going to get that unique rounded shape at Sir Handel's front unless you make it yourself. I think that's a little bit unfortunate for the price. Now let's just continue on back and look at the smoke box. There are these little triangular steam pipes or smoke box supports or whatever they are coming out of the sides of the smoke box here at the bottom. In the show, however, these are nowhere to be found on Sir Handel. Interestingly enough though, they do appear on the real-life Sir Hayden. Isn't that a funny coincidence? Moving up the smoke box, we have some rivet detail and this little molded bit on the back. I looked at Sir Handel in the show to try to figure out what these are, but I couldn't figure it out because they aren't there at all. But what do you know, here they are on Sir Hayden. It's actually a piece of metal that connects the smoke box to the tanks. And speaking of connecting things to the smoke box, let's just look up top at the funnel, which is the correct shape and height by the way, but is connected to the smoke box with this little molded square piece. Which is funny because I remember Sir Handel's funnel being one flush piece with his smoke box. Here's an unrelated close-up of Sir Hayden's funnel. Now looking just beside the smoke box, I know this is taking a while, but I wasn't exaggerating when I said every single detail. Looking just beside the smoke box on one side, we have this little blue box with a wheel on it, which I think is supposed to be Sir Handel's sandbox. It honestly really doesn't look that good at all. It's supposed to be set in a little bit, not right at the edge of the footplate, and it's also way too thin. It looks like a box of Tic Tacs. It's supposed to be more square-shaped, not so thin like this. Also, it's weirdly only present on one side of Sir Handel, when it's supposed to be on both sides, as you can see here in the show. Hey, wouldn't it be funny if Sir Hayden only had it on one side? Moving less than a centimeter back now, we come to the point where the smoke box meets the boiler. Yes, I'm serious. The shaping at the bottom of the boiler here is rounded, following the shape of the smoke box. On Sir Handel, in the show, this area is supposed to be rectangular. Here's another unrelated image of Sir Hayden's boiler, which just coincidentally happens to look exactly like the boiler on this model. Moving a little further back, there's some nice piping detail here under the tanks. These are just molded into the body and then painted to look like metal, not separately fitted or anything. I think it's a little cheap for these to just be molded on such an expensive model, but since they're under the tanks and not in a more visible location, I can kind of forgive it in this case. As far as accuracy goes, on the left side of Sir Handel, these pipes look perfectly accurate to both Sir Handel and Sir Hayden, as their pipes look nearly identical here. On the other side though, the pipes don't match up with how they look on Sir Handel, and you're not going to believe me when I tell you this, but the pipes do actually match up perfectly with the ones that we can see here on Sir Hayden. Editing Dan here, and I just noticed that there's also some additional molded piping detail here that is then left unpainted here on Sir Handel because it's only supposed to be there for Sir Hayden. So even though it's not supposed to be here on Sir Handel, it is there, it's just molded but left unpainted so that hopefully you wouldn't notice it. And now that I have noticed it, it looks really, really stupid. Anyway, back to the video. Heading up to the tanks, Sir Handel's nameplate is very nicely printed, but I wish it wasn't just printed. On the recently released Bachmann Stanley's nameplate is raised slightly from the body to give it a more three-dimensional look. So why didn't they do that here with Sir Handel? Well, because Sir Hayden doesn't have a nameplate there, so they wouldn't be able to reuse this for Sir Hayden if they put a little raised section for the nameplate there. Directly above the nameplate, we have these molded handrails on a $130 model. Molded handrails right on the most visible part of the body. And what makes it worse is if we look directly above these handrails, we've got very fine, separately fitted pipework. This looks great, by the way. I think they did all the pipework here perfectly, 10 out of 10. But it's kind of dragged down when less than a centimeter away are these ugly molded handrails. You're telling me that they can do this, but not the handrails? Is there some kind of clause in Bachmann's contract with Mattel that states that separately fitted handrails are just completely off limits or something? Like, honestly, can somebody with access to Bachmann please ask them why they do this? The whistle and safety valves also look great here in front of the cab. They're separately fitted, just like the pipes. Again, why the handrails couldn't be, I don't know. The cab windows are nicely picked out here with the gold paint. No glazing though, they just go all the way through. Below the windows on one side we have this little box, which should be raised slightly on Sir Handel, but looks just like this on Sir Hayden. And on the other side we have this coal bunker. And I gotta say the coal load does look pretty nice, but this pipe that's supposed to be above it is missing. Coincidentally, this pipe is also missing on Sir Hayden. The lining on the side of the cab is done pretty nicely, as is the printing of Sir Handel's number 3. The handrails that are supposed to be here on the side of the cab door are molded once again instead of being separately fitted, and you can just barely see them here. Since they're the same color as the body, they don't stand out at all. Again, molded handrails on a $130 model are unacceptable to me, and I'm even less forgiving of them on a model where these pipes at the top here are included, showing that they could do the handrails, they're just choosing not to. Inside the cab is pretty much a disaster. There's no details at all, and blocks in both the front of the cab and the bottom of the cab prevent you from adding any detail yourself. These blocks are actually here because Sir Handel's back wheel is powered to give the model a little bit more traction. I'll talk about this more in the mechanism section of the video, but I really don't think that this was necessary. Sir Handel pulls like 4 coaches or trucks maximum in the show, so he really doesn't need to be given more power at the expense of a decent cab. Not that I think that Bachmann would have given us a detailed cab anyways if there was the space, but I would still like the space in case that one of us decided we wanted to do it ourselves, like many did with Bachmann's Tally-Klin model. For $130, I would rather have a detailed cab, or at least a fully open cab, than an extra powered wheel that really isn't necessary. It would have been fine if they had just added extra pickups to the wheel, which wouldn't have taken up this much extra space. Unfortunately though, Bachmann seems to be completely unable to add pickups to unpowered wheels in their Thomas & Friends range. See N-Scale Emily for the consequences of this. The roof of the cab features a little sliding hatch, which is just molded, you can't actually move it. Sir Handel never had this in the show, but again, Sir Hayden does in real life. The back of the cab has some more windows, a lamp, which is a very nice piece honestly, and a little hatch at the bottom, and of course another vacuum pipe next to the dummy coupler. I couldn't find any pictures of Sir Handel from behind in the CGI series, so I'm not sure about the accuracy here, but it does all look nice. Finally, let's talk about the wheels. The pistons on both sides look nice, although again, they have these little steps that Sir Handel doesn't have, but Sir Hayden does have. While the side rods are metal, the crosshead and piston rod are both done with plastic, and the color of the plastic isn't particularly convincing either. We're living in a post-N-Scale Gordon world now, so I really don't think that there's any excuse for these to be plastic pieces on a model of this price. If this model is going to cost more than the Bachmann Skarloey, then this is one of the places where we needed to see improvements over that model. The little guards over the side rods do look good, as do the wheels, which even have the axles blackened out in the middle. The steamroller wheels in the back also look exactly like they should. So that just about wraps up Sir Handel's detail, or as I really should say, Sir Hayden's detail with Sir Handel's paintwork. But there is just one more detail I want to talk about while we're here. The rivets, and I'm not joking, even the rivets are incorrect. I know rivet counting is a little cliche in the model train fandom, but this is one detail in particular that really broke me. Firstly, the model has rivets lining its whole saddle tank, which Sir Handel does not, but Sir Hayden does. It's also got rivets on the front of the tanks, which Sir Handel doesn't, but Sir Hayden does. And if you think those two are nitpicks, fine, honestly, they are, but listen to this one. On Sir Handel's cab in the show, the rivets are arranged in a simple rectangle, but on the model here, they're all scattered in these completely random places. So why is that? Because that's where the Tallyclin Railway crest is on Sir Hayden. Even the rivet details on this model show the ghost of Christmas future that is the upcoming Sir Hayden. And for the record, the other side of the cab is also supposed to be a rectangle of rivets, but is instead these latches or whatever, because of course, that's what Sir Hayden has, and it doesn't matter that Sir Handel never looked like this. Honestly, they're a small thing, but these rivets are really what sent me over the edge when it comes to this model. This is, most simply put, not a model of Sir Handel. This is just like if a fan bought a model of the Flying Scotsman and then painted it green to look like Gordon without changing any of the shapes or details, cause it just looks close enough, right? Except this is a major model railway manufacturer doing that, and then charging you full price for a model that you did not ask for. I paid for a detailed recreation of Sir Handel, not a model of Sir Hayden with a fantasy Sir Handel-like livery put on top of it. And most unfortunately, now that I've noticed all these little things, I can't unsee them, and I have to say that it's made me pretty disappointed with this model. Anyway though, let's just go ahead and move on to the mechanism section. To gain access to Sir Handel's mechanism, we first need to release 3 screws, 1 under the smoke box and 2 under the cab. Once that's done, the body just needs to be pulled off, and it's a very tight fit, which makes it especially difficult to get it off the first time, but once it is off, we can see the inside. The blanking plate here rests on top of the motor, and all the connecting wires here are extremely efficiently placed, so there's no chance of them getting messed up accidentally or anything. I can't tell what kind of motor this is, but if it's anything like the other 009 and N-scale Bachmann Thomas motors, it should be a pretty good one. We also see that Sir Handel has a flywheel, which is another nice quality feature. Unfortunately, there's no place for a DCC decoder, but for the size of the thing, that's probably to be expected. If you want to DCC chip this thing, you'll need to cut the wires and replace this plate with the necessary components yourself. If you're interested in doing that, I'd recommend watching the Sir Handel review by DCC Sodor here on YouTube. Next, I removed the basekeeper plate to take a look at the wheels. It's just 3 screws, 1 in the front, 1 in the middle, and 1 in the back, and the plate comes off. I don't recommend doing this yourself unless you really need to oil the wheels, but if you do, be very careful. The basekeeper plate holds in all the wheels and the couplings, which will be very hard to get back into place if they come out, trust me. Anyway, looking here, we can see that we have all the wheels picking up power from the rails, and all the wheels sitting in brass bearings. Very nice, high quality stuff here. The smaller back wheels and the middle driving wheels are the only geared wheels, with the wheels in the front turning with the coupling rods. Overall, I have nothing but good things to say about this mechanism on paper. Everything I'd expect for the price has been done here. A+. And now that we've seen the mechanism up close, let's put Sir Handel back together and see how he performs on the track. Now we have Sir Handel down on the track, so we can talk about the performance. When I first put Sir Handel on the track, he didn't move at all until I cranked the controller up pretty high. He was also cutting out a lot at slow speeds. After running him in for about 30 minutes in each direction, he became smoother, but he was still not great. So I ran him in for another hour in each direction, just to make sure, and after doing that, Sir Handel became a much more consistent runner. He can't crawl like the N-scale Thomas can, but he can start without having to be bumped or anything, and he can work his way up to a nice, slow, consistent speed. He seems geared to be slightly slower in reverse, but he performs about the same in either direction. If your Sir Handel is cutting out or not performing very well at slow speeds, I recommend running him in for a ridiculous amount of time. Doing that mostly fixed my Sir Handel. I don't have anything to accurately test the power, but using the finger test, there appears to be plenty of torque here in the mechanism. Going over the points, he's able to maintain smooth running at reasonable speeds without derailing. He seems to jump a little bit when going over my most narrow points, but I haven't had him derail yet. Even at high speeds, he's got no problems with the points. I must say though that I am using Kato Unitrack, which is a type of N-scale track, rather than 009 track. So your results may vary depending on the track that you're using. Overall, I would say that Sir Handel is a pretty decent runner, but he's very dodgy out of the box, and I've seen other reviews have similar problems. Give him a good, very long run-in before trying to get fancy with him. But now that we've gone over everything, let's get into my final thoughts and opinions on Bachmann's new Sir Handel. While I go over my final thoughts, I've gathered a couple cattle trucks here for Sir Handel to pull. So, do I recommend this model? Well, I don't not recommend it. Mechanism-wise, it's all pretty good. He performs well. It's not an N-Scale Emily situation. But in regards to the detail, I'm very mixed. It's literally not Sir Handel, but it's almost Sir Handel. If you're still not with me on this, then here's something to think about. Let's say you're a Star Wars fan and you just bought a figure of Boba Fett. Out of the box, it looks great, but as you look more closely, you come to realize that this Boba Fett was actually a green repaint of a Mando figure that you knew was planned to be released the next year. Wouldn't you be a little outraged at what you received for the money you paid? I expect you would be. So why is it that I feel like I'm going to be torn apart by the fandom for pointing out the problems I have here with Sir Handel? I honestly don't think that we as fans should accept a model like this. I want to say that we should vote with our wallets and that we should not buy this Sir Handel. That's how you generally demand improvement from the manufacturer. Don't give them your money. The problem with that is, Bachmann could just as easily respond to that by not making any more 009 models at all. When you think about it that way, this model does come across as certainly better than nothing. But is better than nothing really what we want? I mean, honestly, I really don't know anymore. I already know that Bachmann isn't making Duncan because they don't think they'll be able to repurpose it into Douglas, so I don't know if we'll even be getting any more models in this range anyways. And for the record, my money is on Millie because her basis exists on the Festiniog Railway. Also, ironically, the CGI Duncan render is so bad that I wouldn't even mind if they did exactly what they did here with Sir Handel with Duncan. Just give me a yellow version of the Tallyclin Railway Douglas and I'll be happy, honestly. With Sir Handel though, that's not what I wanted, that's not what I expected, but it's what I got. This is Sir Hayden with Sir Handel's livery and a face. And I would love to hear how you feel about that in the comments. Let me know if you'll be picking up Sir Handel. Let me know if you would be picking up Sir Handel if money wasn't the issue. And let me know what you think our response to this as a community should be. I've been seeing this Sir Handel model get nothing but praise other than like 1 or 2 other reviews. And it just doesn't sit right to me that we don't look more in depth with these models and give them genuine criticisms that they deserve and that they would get in any other fandom. But anyway, that's my review. Let me know in the comments what you think about everything I've said today. And thank you all for a great 2025, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year. But anyways guys, thank you all for watching. Be sure to comment, like, subscribe, rate, favorite, share, +1, anything else you can do on YouTube, and I will see you later.